We never caught the Zodiac Killer nor DB Cooper, but by golly, I tell you what, you know who we did catch? The Cucumber Butthole Blaster. And I'd say that's good enough. For 7 months, Washington, D.C. citizens have slept in fear, paralyzed with anxiety over the thought that he was out there. Nothing was safe. And for 7 months, we didn't know if he'd ever actually be brought to justice, thrown in the slammer for his degenerate actions with a cucumber. I made a video 7 months ago covering the genesis of this villain. He was captured on camera going up to this car after pulling a cucumber from his lunchbox. He walked over with the big iron on his hip. He then grabbed the cucumber, slapped it into the grill of the car, and then fucked his ass with it. He rode it like a scooter. Well, that is if you ride scooters sitting down, I guess. He rode it like he was galloping on a horse, but it was a cucumber blowing out his fucking guts. Anyway, we have the chilling video camera footage of the event. I won't curse you with that again. I'm not trying to make this like the VHS tape from The Ring where you get your butt fucked in 7 days by a cucumber or something, just having watched this degenerate act. But basically, he put it in the grill of the car. He did that, captured on camera. It also happened to be like right next to a school. The whole thing just unbelievably disgusting. Turns out he has a history of doing sex acts like that around the area. This was the only cucumber one that's been reported. This is not what the VeggieTales died for, I'll tell you that much. But he has very extensive history with doing sex acts in public with things like handrails and rakes. And today, he's finally been sentenced.
Being sexually explicit with a cucumber in the middle of the day around the corner from a D.C. high school.
He was sentenced today for a string of sex acts near several families' homes.
What started as a search for a man pleasuring himself in public with a cucumber, now ending with a jail sentence for not one, but a string of alleged sex acts from late July into early September last year.
Now, in the first footage, the initial tapes that captured the cucumber incident where he slapped it in the car's grill, turning it into a unicorn and then cleaning his colon out with it, well, it wasn't just that. He then, after finishing with the car, grabbed the cucumber again and then just bent over and just full-blown, like he was playing a violin with the cucumber, but in his ass. And he did that a few times in and out, and then threw the cucumber back in the lunchbox and then went about his day. I speculated that he may have been out going to do it somewhere else, too. Like, it looked like the director's cut, where it would be like the Cucumber Butthole Blaster will return at the end of, the fucking Thunderbolts movie. So, it was just... I had a theory that this wasn't a one-time thing. Turns out, I was correct. I think most people speculated that, though, by the way. It wasn't like a crazy call for me here. He has a history of doing this. You saw a couple of photos there where he's, riding the handrails, and he was apparently inserting, the end of handrails up his butt.
Mere yards down the street where 31-year-old Anthony Hines II was caught on camera in broad daylight with the vegetable he just pulled from a lunchbox. Court documents show a string of similar incidents, mostly involving handrails. And one, police explicitly said, is shaped like a pine cone. Another handrail, allegedly hit on 2 occasions, is now wrapped with what looks like sandpaper.
Honestly, just put that handrail out of its misery. Just send it to the fucking grave. It doesn't want to live anymore, I'll tell you that much. The sandpaper's only going to do so much. Just take it down, destroy it. It's ruined. It's completely ruined. This weirdo just cruising around Washington, D.C. on freaky mode. Anytime he sees a handrail, he just gets a boner. Also, when he was doing all of these things, did he go to completion till he ejaculated? It's already a huge health hazard, just putting his bare anus on all of these handrails and handles of rakes. I feel like that's a pretty serious thing. There's probably people that use those handrails and maybe got sick fucking pink eye or something, cholera, I have no idea, E. coli. It feels like a pretty big deal to me. But his sentencing was very light. I'll spoil the surprise. He got sentenced to 360 days in jail, but he's only going to be serving 6 months and then some probation. I think that's less than a slap on the wrist. He's going to do it again. For 6 months, he will probably, when he gets out, I would imagine the next day, park your cars in the garage or hide them under some trees somewhere. anywhere out of sight, because there is going to be a rampage with this man and every vegetable he can find at the supermarket. He will be going everywhere, putting everything in his butt across all of Washington, D.C. Mark my words. Like, that is not nearly punishment enough for this, I think.
Footage in one homeowner's backyard reportedly caught Hines using the handle of a garden rake in a sex act.
Public or private, anywhere in your backyard, man, it's not appropriate, I don't think.
Homeowners impacted told me they're relieved for a bookend to the bizarre case, including one whose SUV was targeted with the cucumber, saying she's grateful for the police work, adding, quote, "I'm thankful to the community for helping crack the case of the vegetable voyeur and look forward to enjoying farmers market season in peace."
Yeah, it is nice he was arrested and will be going to jail, but it's not for that long. You can enjoy the farmers market for approximately 6 months. This dude, upon being released, I would wager a guess, will probably walk down the steps, take down his britches, and immediately start flossing his ass crack with the handrail outside the jailhouse. That would be my guess. Like, this is definitely someone who is just out of control. He has a history of doing this with handrails, the fucking handle of a garden rake, a cucumber on some stranger's car right next to a school. Like, come on.
And just today, Hines was sentenced for 5 counts of lewd, indecent, or obscene acts, 4 counts related to accessing private property when he wasn't supposed to be there. He did plead guilty and was sentenced to 360 days in jail, but will serve 6 months, according to the terms, after pleading guilty, and an additional 2 years of probation.
I can't help but just think about that sandpaper handrail one more time real quick. Was that like a preventative measure that they put there? Like, they wrapped it in sandpaper to try and discourage copycat criminals from fucking themselves on it? Or did he, the cucumber butthole blaster, wrap it in the sandpaper for his pleasure? And then the question becomes, how did he not just leave it covered in blood? Like, if he wrapped in sandpaper and then just started, you know, bouncing on it crazy style, how did he not rub all the skin off of his sphincter? So to me, it feels like it was put there after the fact, and I don't see how that does anything at all. It just feels, that whole tidbit of lore there with that handrail post asshole incident is just a little confusing to me, but maybe I'm just not thinking about it properly and can't fully grasp the real intention behind the sandpaper. I think it's also worth mentioning, these are the only cases we know of. There's a chance that every handrail in Washington, D.C. has faced the wrath of this man's asshole. Like, we can't rule out that possibility. This is only what he's been caught with here on these handrails, and that garden rake, and that cucumber on that car. But it could have been spanning years. Only God has that information. We can't possibly seek to understand how long he's been doing this, or how many handrails have been compromised out there. Stay safe, Washington, D.C. Yes, he may be going to jail, but the damage that his anus has done, well, there's no telling the extent. Anyway, I just want to kind of give you the update here on this story. Pretty wacky, wild, and disgusting one, huh? That's really about it. See ya.